Okay, so hello, Fiona. We'll just start off with the first question. Who are you and what do you do?
Right, hello. So I'm Fiona Lowe. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for a couple of local pharmaceutical committees in the Midlands. So we cover Coventry and Warwickshire and Hereford and Worcestershire. And we've got a small team that works across those two LPCs, which involves dealing with a lot of data.
Good. Which system were you using before our software? And were there any like associated challenges with using that software before that caused you to require obviously like a new bespoke CRM?
Well, you're going to find this pretty amazing, but we basically used an Excel. So we did look at lots of different systems and what might be available. I've used things like a CRM type module before in a previous role, so we have looked at other things, but we wanted something that we knew would work well for us. Um, Using an Excel with the number of changes that we're getting at the moment was just not going to be viable any longer, and version control became an impossibility. And we get a lot of calls from people sort of saying, can you just tell us which pharmacies do X services or which pharmacies are in a particular area and things like that? And just trying to pull that information and make sure it's reliable was just becoming a headache, to say the least, and very, very time consuming.
Sure. Thank you. Has our CRM system addressed those challenges? Really, that's just kind of like the question. Has it addressed the challenges? Has it made it a lot easier for you to use? That kind of thing.
Absolutely. I mean, we were very hopeful that it was going to really help with things. We also had the added complication that the person who looked after the Excel was about to go on maternity leave. So it became even more pressing to make sure that we didn't mess up the system, if you like, and we had a good database that we could rely on whilst stretched with fewer people. So it's been a win-win. Um, in fact, the only thing that's holding us back really is us having the time to actually do the stakeholder one, because the pharmacy one works beautifully. We all know how to use it. It's very easy and intuitive. Um, Everyone's very quick to support us if we need some help. We can't work out what the buttons are or whatever, or to actually make things a bit more intuitive for us. So I think that's what's been really helpful. And we have just found at what has become a really busy time that we don't know what we'd have done without it, if I'm honest. And I think that's why some other LPCs are quite interested, because they've gone, help, how are you managing? So I think that's why the word spread a bit. It certainly made a huge difference to us, and we update it probably daily and pull information from it at least weekly. Um, and we find the notes thing particularly helpful because it allows you, if you know something's going to happen, you can actually use the notes facility to remind yourself that that's going to happen. And the other thing that's really neat is having the archive rather than it disappearing forever. So if you make a mistake, like we do, that you can undo it, find it again. Also having the option to duplicate a record so that you can then archive that original version and then do your new version. It's just really important for us because with the business we're in, we need to be able to look back as well as forward. So it's made a huge difference, both from accuracy and time point of view.
Fine. Well, and because of that, do you feel that this software that we've developed for you has like added any value to like your LPC in terms of like ability to
It,
now work a lot quicker, kind of thing, or a lot more?
it certainly means we've got more accurate records. It means we can pull the information quickly and actually, rather than give people a piece of paper or an Excel spreadsheet, now we can actually just call it up on the database if they just want to look at a particular range of things, and then we know we can download it. big trick to remember is to save it as an Excel, not a CSV, because then it's much easier to manipulate when you've taken it off the thing. That took us a little while to remember, to our cost, because you thought you made all these changes, and then of course it doesn't remember it. But that's just great. And then that means you can manipulate it how you want afterwards and adjust which columns you want to share. So you're protected from your GDPR point of view, as well as to what you're giving to external customers. So all round, it saved a lot of time. It's definitely more accurate. The notes part is we're using effectively on the pharmacy bit, but once we get the stakeholder map organised, that will become even more important. We just haven't got the people to do it yet.
Fair enough. How easy or difficult did you find it to work with us, in particular during like the development of the system?
Very easy, actually. I think, considering we had limited knowledge of exactly what we wanted to achieve, or we sort of knew what we wanted to achieve, but we weren't quite sure how possible it was. Miraculously, you managed to interpret what we wanted and come up with pretty much what we needed, which was great. So well done for that, because I think we weren't always that clear. But it certainly was useful being able to sort of catch up regularly and look at things and see if it worked, and then if it didn't quite fit, how it could get changed. So I think all of that was really helpful, and certainly it was sort of good from a times point of view, and certainly the result has been great. Needless to say, of course, we're now thinking, oh, we might fancy a bit of this and we might fancy something else and all of these sort of things. But we've got, and I think that's just because it's so helpful and so good that we want to make sure we do the same with some of our other databases that we hold as well. So yes, it's definitely easy to use. Everyone's been very helpful. I think, as I say, interpreted what we wanted. You knew what we wanted, even if we didn't. That really helped. And all the team are finding it very helpful. Yeah, I think, and I think probably we've both learned a bit as we've gone along, as well as to what we really needed, because I suppose we were a different sector from anything you come across before.
Particularly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next would be, how do you rate our support services? Obviously, I handle all of your support, and started on your support. But how would you rate your current experience with like using our support services in particular?
Yeah, again, very good all through the development piece. We've only just started getting to the bit where we've, putting a ticket on and requesting some information and things like that. Yeah, it seems to work smoothly, and if it doesn't quite come as we expect, it's usually because we haven't interpreted it right, rather than it's being a fault in the system. But no, it seems to be working well. And the ticketing system, we've tested it, or Susan has anyway, and that seems to work effectively too. So it's all going very well.
Brilliant. And the final question is, would you recommend us to any other businesses?
Or have?
LPCs? Yeah, I know you have a few. But outside of like LPCs, would you recommend us to any?
Oh, we would, and we'd be happy if somebody wanted to talk to us about it. We have to be really careful that we could show them a bit of our database, but we have to be really careful because we have a lot of sensitive information on ours. But to explain, how we found it, yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that there's going to be other LPCs that will be interested. I think it's just spreading the word.
Slowly but surely. Okay, well then that is all of the questions I have for now. Just thank you very much. If you've got any like final comments or anything like that, feel free to say. Or
no, I should say I think it's been a great experience, learning curve for everybody. But you were very good about not worrying about if we were asking stupid questions, and didn't make us feel stupid. So that was quite nice as well. So we did feel that we could ask whatever we wanted, which really helps. Because otherwise you get people who really didn't quite understand it, but didn't like to ask, whereas we never felt that we couldn't ask silly questions.
Thank you very much.